Most farmers pay for their fertilizer, but did you know that the best and most natural fertilizer is actually nitrogen that's already in the air? In this video, we're going to show you the cover crops that best pull that nitrogen out of the air and convert it into usable nutrients for your soil. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria help plants capture nitrogen from the air and pull it into the soil. To get the most from them, you need the right plants, the right bacteria, and the right growing conditions. Here's how. So if you've checked out the last couple of videos that we've had, we have done a lot of soil testing, we have silage tarped, we started broad forking, and we have laid down a cover crop specifically for our soil, which is almost 100% clay. We brought in a lot of sand and a lot of topsoil to go ahead and give us a nice top dress. We're planting the cover crop, and then as we're building the beds, we're bringing in fresh compost to start the actual seed bed while we have this nice foundation of healthy soil underneath. This is not a short-term fix. This is going to take a season or two to kind of build up the soil to where we really want it, but there's no time like the present to start. And starting this process now means that by next spring, we're at least going to be much better off than where we would have if we just planted directly into that clay native soil. And just so you know, the items that we're talking about using in this video, the silage tarp, the broad fork, the testers, are all available right here at bootstrapfarmer.com. So we started off with a cover crop mix of vetch, rye, and daikon radish. The vetch is going to help us build up the nitrogen. The daikon roots are really going to do a giant taproot down into that clay, and as they decompose later on in the year, that's going to leave a void that puts some of these other amendments that we've been putting in a place to go live and start changing that soil structure over time. And then the ryegrass gives us a nice root mat to hold down some of that new fresh soil and lets us start building a lot of biodiversity underground. As we soil tested and checked our pH, we were low in nutrients and we had a very high pH. So we had to adjust that as we went. So yesterday we put down a nice layer of lime to help balance out that pH, and then we inoculated peas, and that's what I want to talk about in this video, this inoculation of peas, which is introducing bacteria into that pea root that's going to get down into the ground. And as those pea roots develop, they're going to develop little nodules. So here's kind of the abstract concept I want us to think about. Is inside of the atmosphere, we can't see it. It's hard to describe in a video form because I don't want to do a bunch of crazy AI renderings, but there's nitrogen in the air, like a lot of nitrogen, but it has a strong triple bond, which means it's not available for the plants. But it's not just about picking the right crop, it's also about picking the right bacteria. So here's a bunch of words I don't know how to pronounce on the screen. So again, nobody expects you to know how to read that. I swear some of these names that these scientists give some of this stuff, it's just, you know, they're not out in the field like we are. So we're doing the best we can here, folks. But now that you know what bacteria goes with what seed, you can then order that inoculant, and here's how to put that into the seed. So if you're watching this video on the day it comes out, later on tonight, 6 p.m. Central, we have a live webinar with Randy Cummings, and we're going to talk about the entire process that we did here. We're going to cover cover cropping, silage tarping, and all of the benefits. We're really going to get down in the weeds, and you can listen in live. Click the link down below to go ahead and register for that. And if you're watching this after this comes out, we will switch out the link for the live replay later on in YouTube, which is another great reason to subscribe. So for the inoculation itself, we take this powder and we want to put it inside of a slurry. And here's the problem between us as small gardeners and market farmers and who this is actually made for. This is made for broad acreage. If you look a lot of time, especially in the inoculant package, you're looking at covering acres, if not thousands of square feet. So we basically had to do the math to go, hey, we're trying to cover 1/10 of an acre here, not 10 acres. And so this package likely would last us a whole long time. So I think we spent $30 in seed, $7 in inoculant to cover this whole cover cropping situation that's not only going to help us till in with the daikon radish and add nitrogen for the fertilizer between the peas and the vetch, but then stabilize the ground with the rye crops, all while feeding beneficial bacteria all at the same time. It's clear that this is the better way to go, and that letting the plants do the work for you, keeping in nature's nutrient cycle, means that everybody wins. So again, because these inoculant packages are meant for much larger square acreages, you have to dial down the math. It tells you to make a slurry, and when I think of a slurry, I think of a very wet compound, but that's not what we're doing here. We're adding a little bit, just a little bit of water. So for these 5 pounds of peas that we're doing, we only added 1 ounce of water. We stirred it around with the inoculant inside of there just to give those peas a light coating and let that dry out for about 5 minutes. Again, we added the peas to our original mix. Because the peas are going to go so fast, I don't feel like they're going to do any competition or competing, but I'm also introducing that bacteria to the vetch that we already had down. So now that they're spread out, the peas should be popping in a couple of days because we're watering pretty good right now. And over time, as those roots develop, the nodules will come on the roots. So as the nitrogen is floating in the atmosphere, the vetch and the peas are going to absorb it down to the roots. But just know that any plant out there that you see that's thriving out in nature, it's a lot of the same process. And all we're doing is highly selecting the right plants with the right soil based off of our soil test and our conditions to do the job that we needed to do for future crops. So again, once we've done all this, we're going to add compost on top, which is further going to help us balance out our pH. And then it's going to give all of these microbes that we're feeding all of this surface area. So as we're broad forking and as we're adding more life back into the ground via these worms, we're continuing to aerate, we're continuing to adjust the pH. We're bringing in nitrogen that as we terminate the cover crops with the silage tarp, that nitrogen then becomes available to the plants right at the root zone, right where they need it. And as the plants grow up and uptake that and we terminate that crop, throughout the year, we're going to further companion plant and plant a series of crops that's going to build the soil as we're also being able to take a harvest. And next year, we're going to cover crop again to build it up even more. Also, it's real important right now at this stage not to over-fertilize. We're using bone meal and blood meal to give it a first initial start, but we're not going to just keep pouring fertilizer on here. We're going to let the natural cycle take place and let that nitrogen come in from the air. And again, I don't expect to just do nitrogen every single time. As that soil structure changes, we may need to aerate more, which means more radishes and more mixes like that. And again, it's going to be pointless to continue doing this in a natural way if I would come in next spring and just rototill this whole thing up, destroy the microbes, break everything up. We're going to broad fork, let the earthworms do its business, let the roots do their business. And as we add compost and build up the soil over time, we should really soften this clay ground. And it's important not to think of the cover crop as just a seed it and forget it kind of thing. This is a crop and it is doing work. Now you may not be harvesting something to eat, but you are harvesting the nutrients and the benefits of the cover crop, which means we need sunlight, a nice open field like this, full sun all day long. It's going to need a good irrigation program, and we don't want to overcrowd. It's real easy to get super excited and overseed this, and admittedly, I probably did. But as you can see, we still have a lot of space, and that's why I felt like we could add the peas yesterday as we brought in that bacteria. The other next step is we're going to terminate this crop correctly, which means we're really going to start paying attention to the crop as it gets colder, as this crop starts to get stressed out, as it begins the flowering stage. The flowering precedes the seed stage, and we're going to terminate this cover crop at that time, which means you can do one of two things. You can mow it and chop it down, leave it, or you can do what we're going to do, which is as this crop grows up, we're going to lay it over and crimp it. We're just going to go on the outside and push it in, and then we're going to go up and down the rows and push it all away. So behind the camera is the high side, and it's all draining down into this section, which goes into a ditch. So as we crimp, I'm going to crimp in this manner. As the water flows from north to south, it's just going to percolate through without a big rush, which is going to help hold the soil down, which is why the ryegrass was in place. So as that happens, as we crimp, we're going to lay a secondary silage tarp on top, and we're going to break down over a few weeks with the black side up because it's going to be in the winter, and add that nutrients back into the soil. We're adding biomass for these earthworms to have something to eat and crawl around in and loose soil, and all that's going to help that soil structure. So that's how we're building up our nitrogen and fertility base, basically for free or at a super low cost by just using what's already all around us in the air. We're breaking it down with beneficial bacteria. We're selecting plants that sucks in that nitrogen and puts it down into that root level where that bacteria is. And over time, with this combination of crops, we're going to transform 100% clay into a nice sandy loam that has a lot of microbes, a lot of activity underground that's going to take care of those roots and our spring crops. Thank you for watching this video. This is a lot of fun bringing you along on this journey. We're going to make mistakes and we're all going to learn together. We'll see you in the next video.